meeting. This is a meeting of December 16, 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the applicable portions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been given. This meeting is posted on the bulletin board located in the corridor of this building and published in the newspaper on January 11, 2019. Councilwoman Noonan will offer a prayer and Councilman Burns will lead in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Lord Father, help us remember the birth of Jesus, that we may share the song of the angels, the greatness of the shepherds, and worship of the wise men. Close the door of hate. Open the door to love all over the world. Let kindness come with every gift, and good desire with every greeting. Deliver us from evil by the blessing that Christ brings, and teach us to be married with clear hearts. May the Christmas morning be happy to thy children, and Christmas evening bring us to our beds and grateful thoughts. Forgive and forgiven. That's from Stevens. But at this time, I'd also like to remember the police officers who have been shot down, our military on the Navy bases, and all our first responders, our police officers, and our military. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a moment of silence for everything Judy said.
I was going to say as well, unfortunately, there's a lot of people we could do this for, but in particular, Detective Seals, my department, will be going there tomorrow to the funeral. So let's think of him and his 5 children this time. Thank you. Before roll call, just happy holidays, Merry Christmas, everybody. Prosperous New Year around the corner. Happy, healthy one. And that's it. I want to say it now in case I forget to say it later. Okay, roll call.
Councilman Bacchione.
Here.
Councilwoman Gingrich.
Present.
Councilman Burns.
President.
Councilwoman Noonan.
Here.
Councilman Godano.
Here.
Councilman Buccio. Absent. Council President Gross.
Sitting right next to you. Discussion by administration.
God bless you.
Bless you.
Keith, for the record, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First item agenda is cancellation of taxes for a 100% disabled veteran. As I usually say, this is just another wonderful thing that the municipality provides to our 100% service-connected disabled veterans. However, it's another unfunded state mandate, and we appreciate those who serve our country, and we support this program. But once again, we call on the governor and state legislature to start funding these unfunded mandates on the municipalities. And I believe that's on the official item 9.1 through 9.4.
Item 4B is a contract change order for a Type 3 Ford E50 ambulance remount. The council had awarded a bid to VCI Emergency Vehicles several months ago in putting the rig together for the Bayville First Aid Squad. There was additional parts that were required for the installation of a remount, which amounted to $1,360.31, so requesting a change order for that amount. There is funding in the capital budget, and that is on the official agenda, number 9.5. Item C, there are 2 resolutions here. These are deferred school taxes for both Berkeley and Central Regional. Deferred meaning there is a timing difference, not a funding difference. We're not holding any funds back from either one of the schools, but because they're on a fiscal year and we're on a calendar year, those monies are deferred. So the excess funds go into our surplus, and then they come out when the monies are due. And that is on the official agenda, number 9.5. Item 4D is a resolution for stale dated checks. This is a cleanup that we do in finance from time to time, finding old checks that have not been cashed for some periods of time. Some go all the way back to 2016. So we cancel them. We exhausted why they weren't cashed. Many of them are voids. They just weren't taken off of the books. There's an approximately $36,000 that will now go into surplus from these older checks. And that is on the official agenda, number 9.8.
Okay, and before I go on to letter E, just a point of clarification, I think you might have said that the deferred school taxes were 9.5, but it's actually 9.6 and 9.7, just to
Sorry, thank you.
get it on the record right. Letter E is offering for sale of block 708, lots 18 and 28 on Clifton Avenue. It's on the official agenda as item number 9.9, and that's our one that we generally do when there's an interest from adjacent property owners for an undersized lot. It gets put out at the assessed value, in this case being $14,300. Item F is authorizing refunds for a couple recreation program fees, and that's because those people paid for an exercise class that then there was not enough participation. So it was canceled, so through no fault of their own, we would give them back their money, and that's on the official agenda as item number 9.11. Item
G is the 2021 Municipal Alliance Grant. It's an annual grant the municipality receives. Again, we are receiving an additional $31,388 from the county. There's a 15% match of this, which is a little over about $4,700. Plus, we have to match the county grant in the same amount, the $31,388 in non-cash. So we've been reinstated for fiscal year 2021. That is on the official agenda, number 9.12.
Item H is just a renewal of our annual, every 5 years lease agreement with the Berkeley Township Historical Society, and that commences January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2024. That's for those of you who don't know, the Historical Society building. It's the old town hall, which is next to the rec center. It's our Historical Society Museum. They do a really nice job there. There is a new president. Gerard Morey was recently elected. He reached out to me, and he would like to sit down with myself and John Camera, the administrator, to go over some issues or some needs from the Historical Society's point of view to the building. So that's on the official item 9.13.
Item number 4I is the 2020 Schedule C agreement. This is a shared service agreement that the township has with the County of Ocean mainly for public works type of expenses, coal patch, and for some engineering expenses as needed. We do this annually, and this is on the official agenda, number 9.14, and that would be for the 2020 budget.
J, yep.
J, thank you. Item J is a council resolution requesting the County Natural Lands Trust acquire property block 1014, lot 28, and that's on Brennan Concourse. Grant Concourse. It's about 13 or 14, yeah.
13 acres.
It's about 13 acres. It's close to, I believe, Berkeley Island County Park. I think that's why we want to get that. So get it off the rolls for potential future development, and if we get the county to purchase that or partner with the township, however they see fit, so we can get those 13 acres off the rolls, that would be a benefit to the township. And that's on the official item 9.10.
Item K is cancellation of tax balances of $5 or less. This is another cleanup effort. We did this last year as well. These are for property taxes that are still due and owing the municipality that have balances of less than $5. Sometimes people just send in a little bit late, some rounding of interest, whatever it is. But it will clean up the books for 560 properties. It doesn't cost us that much. It's $830.15 in total. And that is on the official agenda, number 9.15.
Item 4L is an agreement, authorizing an agreement with Ocean County for recycling revenue sharing. That's another 5-year agreement. We've been doing it for years. It's worked out well. And it's basically just a shared program. As long as there's profit, then we share in those profits. If there was break even, it wouldn't cost us anything. But if there was ever a cost involved, then we'd have to absorb our portion of that as well. But it is the best resource available for our recyclables, and regardless of the cost, every ton that's brought there saves us about $100 from taking it to the landfill. So it makes sense, and it's on the official agenda as item number 9.16. The next one, item M, is authorizing a 3-year renewal with the Garden State Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. Township has been with them for a long time. We've done it before when it gets near the end, so back in, I guess, September, we started shopping around a little bit, see if it was possible to do any better with any other joint insurance fund or private. And again, the Garden State Municipal Joint Insurance Fund has been and remains our best deal going forward. So we're recommending a renewal of that agreement, and that's on the official agenda as item 9.17.
Item N is a requesting of a study commission to review the Open Public Records Act. Since our clerk and deputy clerk are far more familiar with Oprah than I am, I'll pass it on to our clerk to explain this a little bit more detail.
We're just asking for a commission that will go over the Oprah regulations, and we'd like them to make some changes to what is out there. Right now, it's ridiculous the amount of requests we have, and we're overburdened with them. People don't understand it takes time and the effort that's behind it, and we're printing out copies that we're no longer charging anything for, and then, you know, it's a burden to us too, that we're not able to charge for the work that's going into the thing. So that's all we're asking, is that they do a study on what's being done.
And as I understand, many of the clerks around the state are asking for the same.
That's correct.
That was gonna be my question. Are we starting this, or we're jumping on the?
We're jumping on what the State Clerks Association wants. I know, the whole state, you know, they're asking all the clerks to do it.
That's on the official agenda, number 9.18. Item O is an insertion of a special item of revenue into the 2019 budget. We will be receiving a grant in the amount of $6,711.15 for the fiscal year 2019 Body Armor Replacement Fund to buy vests for the police officers. And that is on the official agenda, number 9.19. Item P is accepting hazardous discharge site remediation fund grant. This is a grant that the municipality received, I believe it was back in 2016, in the amount of $712,380 for site remediation work, mainly over the Beechwood Mall area. The grant has been just about fully exhausted, and we need the resolution so that we can now get reimbursed from the state from. And that is on the official agenda, number 9.20.
Item Q is authorizing refund of a certificate of occupancy application fee. They had applied for the fee. We never did any inspections, then it was not needed. So because there was no time put in by us or anything, we are asking for the $75 fee to be refunded, and that's for block 9.64, lot 33. And the resolution is on the official agenda as item number 9.21.
Item R is authorization to cancel authorizing certain budgetary transfers. Resolution totals $177,481.80, which is less than 1% of the entire budget, so it's not much. These are just some line items that are a little bit short, that we can cover them with other line items. So, and that is on the official agenda, number 9.22.
And the last two items on the agenda are requests from the county. They're in the process of purchasing block 1211, lots 11 through 14, and block 1216, lots 7 through 13, from private property owners that contacted the county that would like to purchase those properties. So they are requesting, whenever they're purchasing property in a municipality, they always like to make sure that the municipality is okay with purchasing. So that's why it's on the official, item 9.30 and 9.31. And item T, did we get the right ones on the resolution?
Yes, it was on the agenda thing.
Great. And item T is a big hot topic that's been coming up the last few days. In lame duck legislature, it's opposing S2173 and A3818. And that is the state of New Jersey, which amends the permissible exemptions from immunizations for school-aged children. I'm going to read the resolution into the record. Whereas current state law provides exemptions for mandatory immunizations for students, and whereas the legislation amends these exemptions and significantly expands those affected by its provisions, and whereas if enacted, will now require statutory and/or regulatory immunizations in children in public and private licensed daycares, children in public or private child care centers, students in public or private preschool, elementary or secondary school, and institutions of higher learning, affecting significantly more children within the state. Whereas if enacted, S 2173 A 3813 will only permit exemptions from these immunizations for those with doctor's notes indicating such immunizations is medically contradicted or it goes against religious tenets or practices of student rather than a general philosophical or moral objection thereto. And whereas such a proposition denies a doctor from tailoring immunizations to truly fit the individual patients, and whereas they propose to strip parents from making decisions in the best interest in their children, and whereas such proposition can lead to widespread mandatory immunizations dictated by business rather than medical decisions. Whereas myself and requesting the council believe that S 2173 and A 3813 strip parents, guardians, and health professionals of their right to protect the children for whom they are responsible, which is a clear example of government overstepping. And whereas we vehemently oppose S 2173 and A 3813 and its intrusion into the lives of the residents of the state of New Jersey. Now therefore be it resolved that the Township Council strongly opposes, and copies of the resolution will be sent to various. I mean, this is, my phone's been ringing off the hook recently. In fact, I believe our newly elected Senator, Michael Testa, said it best, and I'll refer to our council president, who's also in law enforcement, that Senator Testa from Atlantic County is a defense attorney, and he says, and I quote from him, that if somebody is pulled over and they think is under the influence, the person rejects a breathalyzer. So then they have to get a court order in order to get the blood sample. But yet, this legislation, if approved, will allow nurses within schools, daycare centers, and able to give immunizations to children without parental consent. So I'm totally opposed to this. I've spoke to some of the council members who also were in agreement. So I'm asking for the council to approve the resolution. And,
There's a resolution on
It's
it.
on the official.
Thank you, Mayor.
and is that accurate, Tom? You need a, yeah.
You could deny the breathalyzer, and then you get charged with the driving while intoxicated anyway, but when you go to the hospital, yeah, I mean, so it would be as if the kids would have no rights, and someone who violated, in this state, driving while intoxicated is not a crime, it's more a vehicle offense, but someone who commits that offense would have more rights than a child. I mean, there's no reason why a parent can't have a, two seconds, to give their, well, I mean, probably most parents would be in favor of it, but it's their right, it's their child's right to do that, so. Anyway, thanks, Mayor.
Thank you.
The rights being taken away.
And it is on the official
Yeah.
item 9.3.
Yeah, it's a little overstepping.
We've had that a lot lately, right, Councilwoman? Mayor?
Oh, we like to get to it.
S
Through the chair.
2425?
Through the chair, isn't the vaccination that they want to give is when they're like 14 years old? To prevent them from
That's the
getting
HPV.
cancer. That vaccination is supposed to be could be very deadly to your child. They named 3 children that died from it, just from that vaccination. So now, if your child's in school, they could turn around and just give that child a vaccination like that without you saying yes?
If it becomes part of this, the statute speaks to statutorily required immunizations or regulatory required immunizations. So if they become part of that law at some point in time, then yes, it's mandatory and your child has to have that immunization unless you fit into one of those very small categories. It used to be a lot broader, and now it's very small.
Well, I'm sorry, you're saying that's how it is now, or how they're proposing?
That's how they're proposing.
Thank you.
That's it with the resolutions? All right, so that's from Mayor first.
Thank you. I too want to wish everybody happy holidays and a very happy, healthy 2020. It seems to be building up to be a very exciting year moving ahead. Today is the 75th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge. This December 16th, 1944. You weren't there, were you, Red? I heard you laughing.
The wife's ass was sitting alongside of me there.
John, were you there?
Yeah, made some discouraging remarks.
Battle of the Bulge. Councilman Bacchione and I, and in years past, many of the council members have attended Veterans Day ceremonies, Memorial Day ceremonies. In fact, we were recently, December 7th was D-Day ceremonies. And every year we attend these ceremonies. The World War II veterans are fewer and far between each year. They're part of the greatest generation. We're lucky enough to have two of those individuals who are still active of the Silver Ridge Westerly Memorial Post. The commander, Joe Buttrose, is a World War II veteran, and on the executive board, Peter Smith. Both of these gentlemen are in their 90s, and they're still active with that VFW. But I know John could probably touch on it, but it's these milestones we like to make. The younger generations fully understand the commitment was made by these generations, the greatest generation. When people, my generation, those generations that came after us, they think of Memorial Day, Labor Day, Veterans Day, D-Day. They think of, what kind of sales are going to be at the department store, not understanding the full meaning of what these represent. So I was talking to freeholder Joe Vicari today, and his father, who has since passed a few years ago, fought in the Battle of the Bulge, and he thought it was noteworthy to make that. Today's the 75th anniversary of the beginning of that, and we want to thank all of our servicemen, especially those who were in World War II. Habitat for Humanity is in the process, once again, of building and constructing a workforce housing in our township, and they had made a request. I will give you the actual block and lot. And it's been customary of the council in the past to waive construction and zoning fees, so it's 275 Grand Central Parkway will be their 20th affordable home that Habitat for Humanity will be constructing as an organization. Several of those have been in our township, and they are asking for consideration to waive the zoning and construction fees, because as we know, every dollar that they can save is another dollar they could put into the construction of the house.
Would you like a resolution, Mayor?
Yes, I would. I'd ask the council's consideration
I'll make that motion.
And a second, please?
to adopt the
Second.
resolution,
Yeah, roll
and it
call.
is 274 Grand Central Parkway.
274 or 5? I think
274 Grand Central Parkway.
I wrote down 5.
I wrote that too.
Okay. All right, we have a first and a second. Roll call, please, on the
Well, then,
resolution.
if three of you have it, then I misspoke. It is 274 Grand. Now, these are new glasses. That's why I keep taking them on, putting them off, taking them off. 274 Grand Central Parkway.
All right.
Councilman Bacchione?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich?
Yes.
Councilman Burns?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes.
Councilman Guadagno?
Yes.
Councilman Buccio?
Yes.
Council President Cruz?
Yes.
Through the chair for the mayor.
Yes.
Carmen, these, the houses that Habitat builds, every one they built has really turned out nice. The people have taken care of them. But I think Ocean Inc. built houses on Elizabeth for rentals. Is there a way we could take money from the Mount Laurel money or something to try to establish like a low-interest mortgage for those people so they could buy them?
Well, yeah, I mean, Councilman, you and I spoke about this.
They don't want to.
What we should do is set up a meeting with Ocean Inc. and Habitat for Humanity, and then with the township, maybe the three of us, between the township, Habitat for Humanity, and Ocean Inc., maybe come up with a way where we can get those homes, provide some funding, Habitat can provide some funding, to buy Ocean Inc. out of those homes, and then Habitat, because they have a very exhaustive process on selecting families for these, these homes. And once they're selected, they have to put in many, many hours of sweat equity. As you know, Councilman Burns, who has volunteered on at least 3 of the last 4 Habitat builds here for Northern Ocean. So I think that way we can start the discussion, because
Yeah, the renters are keeping them up, they look fine, but they can't even put a deck or put a bush, they're renters. But if they had skin on the game,
Through
it'd
the
be much
chair,
better.
but-
Thank you.
Isn't Ocean Inc., that's their policy, is to rent, they didn't want to sell, did they change
Correct.
their policy?
No, but John and I met with the new executive director about 6 or 7 months ago, and that they're looking to transition out of the rental, which I think would be a good, if we could partner with Habitat, because I know Habitat for Humanity has a very lengthy list of, good families that are looking for good workforce housing. And I think if we could partner together, we do have skin in the game with those homes, because the township did provide the lots for those homes, so they are deed restricted, so we have a say on where they can go. And then we also provided some additional housing trust fund funds for the construction of those five homes. So, we definitely have, a seat at the table in those discussions. And I think Habitat, as I mentioned, not to be redundant, would be very appreciative to do that, because they have a lot of families that are on waiting lists for homes. Obviously, they have a lot more people that need homes, and as fast as they can build them.
They
So I
do a
think
nice job.
They do. They do. So I appreciate that, Mr. President. We had acquired a piece of property through the foreclosure process. It's the old Colonel property. And over the years, we've been approached by individuals that are looking to either lease the building out, or lease part of the property, or put a billboard up. So I know we had discussed this. I think we actually adopted a resolution, but then we never formulated. So I'm just asking for the council once again to authorize that we go out to bid to lease a section of the property, or for a billboard, or for the local business wants to use it, because it's, until we can get a determination on the contamination that was there, that was cleaned up. There's some liens that the DEP has. Until we can get through all that, and it's going to be a lengthy process, we might as well, get some additional funds raised for the municipality by doing that.
All right, so may I have a motion
I'll make
to
the
lease
motion.
parts of the,
For the sign?
just, yes, talk right over me, it's fine. Okay, first and a second.
Make the motion.
Yeah, whatever, well, you know what it's about. Parts of the Colonel property. First, second, vote, roll call, please.
Councilman Becchione?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich?
Yes.
Councilman Burns?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes.
Councilman Guadagno?
Yes.
Councilman Buccio?
Yes.
Council President Gross?
Yes.
And just two last things. Just want to thank you, Council President Tom Gross, for 2019 Council President this year. It was a pleasure working with you. I know reorganization is January 1st, and I know you guys like to share the wealth, but I just want to say thank you for your work as Council President this year. You did a great job, and look forward to continuing working with you as a councilman. Thank you.
Nice job.
And lastly, I want to, very proud of our Councilman Jim Burns, who everybody knows is a Bronze Star, Purple Heart Vietnam veteran. He was a medic in Vietnam, the 101st Airborne Division. He signed up for a program where he's going to be a mentor for those veterans, or those new veterans that have been in Afghanistan, Iraq, that are coming back over, that need a mentoring program. And Jim underwent a very strenuous classes to become a mentor. And Jim, on behalf of the town council, on behalf of the state of New Jersey, I want to present the certificate of appreciation in recognition of your willingness to serve the veterans of the state of New Jersey and your successful completion of the statewide veteran diversion program mentor training. held on December 9, 2019 in Cape May. And this is signed by the Adjutant General of the National Guard of the state of New Jersey. So,
Thank you, Mayor.
thanks. Thank you.
If I could expand on this one, there was, this is also a mentoring program for veterans that are incarcerated or anything, like they get in a fight or robbery or drugs, but it's everything but a DUI. And this comes through the prosecutor's office. And in lieu of a jail term for 6 months or whatever, they're placed with a mentor. And then the mentor will follow them, make sure they do their court dates, make sure they do their testing and, all of the above. And the class, there was maybe 8 or 9, and most of them were prosecutors. But I know, I don't know whether the prosecutor Coronado started it in Ocean County, but it's been a real good program in Ocean County. But what I found funny with the class was, I think Ocean County has 8, Atlantic County has about 20, but Essex County has none. So I couldn't figure that out. Maybe they couldn't come up with mentors, but it's a good program, and I think they could always use more help. But I know most of the law enforcement are the mentors there. All right. So thank you, Mayor.
Mayor, anything else?
I think that's all I have. I reserve to follow up after you guys all speak.
All right. Councilman Bacchione?
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to take advantage of the last meeting, the council meeting for 2019, and just do a year-end review of certain items that I thought were important that the Finance Committee looked at. Finance Committee worked jointly with the mayor and his team to perform an arduous task of putting this year's budget together without increasing any of the municipal taxes. Through our collective efforts, we continue to maintain the second lowest average residential municipal tax bill in all of Ocean and Monmouth counties. After a year passed in May of privatizing the Cedar Creek Golf Course, where we were financially challenged, we now show a profit with 0 liabilities and no increase in fees. Again, as I mentioned in our previous meetings, our best practice score soared in a new version of best practices, contradicting a potential loss in excess of $200,000 in state aid. On another note, Berkeley's recent rating by Standard & Poor's sustains our AA- rating, which has a potential to higher the rating and lower interest rates. We waited on going out for bond refunding in June. We anticipated a better market in the future of this year. With interest rate savings of approximately $132,000, and we continuously monitored the market, we did refund in December this month for an interest rate savings in excess of $159,000. Sometimes speculation hits the market right, and our net interest rate is currently 1.38%, so it's a great achievement. I also want to take this opportunity to thank our Council President, Tom Gross, for a job well done this year. Our new president, of course, we haven't mentioned yet, but will certainly do a good job as well. I also want to take this opportunity to be politically and morally correct and wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah. And I want to say that it's about time that the national holiday of Christmas is recognized by Americans. And it's not a bad thing to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. So thank you, Council President.
Thank you, John. Councilwoman Gingrich?
Good evening, everyone. On December 5th, Judy Noonan, Terry LaCourse, and myself went to Trenton to protest the S-2425 bill and the Assembly Bill A-5831. My protest was to maintain affordable housing, Santa's in the house,
Merry Christmas! I expect all of you to be good this year, especially you, Carmen, John, and Tom. I'm watching you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you,
Thank you, Santa.
That was unscripted, by the way.
Okay, my protest was to maintain affordable housing for the senior communities, not having the government making changes to our bylaws, adding additional expenses and fees. An example would be, they want to have a state person come in to make sure that we are processing the bylaws the correct way. I don't think that we do anything other than do that, because we print in our monthly newspaper all of our budgets and where the money is being spent and all the upgrades that are happening in the community. So we really don't need them to come and monitor us. So that's basically what my call was when I went. But Judy's going to give you a complete version of everything that happened there. And with that, I just would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a happy and healthy New Year. Thank you, Tom Gross, for a great year as our president. And I am finished.
Thank you,
Good
so.
night.
Jim?
This week, the mayor got the Best Santa Award this week. But council got together and made the annual phone calls, and it was a great night. It was fun. Thank you, Mayor. I know we're going to approve some junkyards, and I see the inspections were done by fire, code, or whatever, but I think I talked to Lauren about the environmental impact of if they went belly up or we had to foreclose on these properties and there's an environmental impact. Do we have any safeguards put in place for that, or does the state monitor that and give us a bill of health every year?
We're indemnified under the Spill Act, correct?
If it falls under the Spill Act and we had to foreclose on it or we came into ownership, then through no fault of our own, essentially, then we are immune from it. But I think you're asking about
If
just
there's a yearly inspection or...
inspections. If they're licensed through the state, then that would speak to whether.
They are licensed through the state.
Mhm.
The one on 9 is through the state, the one on Double Trouble is not.
is not licensed through the state.
No, it's not on state roads, so they're not required to be licensed by the state.
We'll have to look into it more.
Alan, could you
as
look
far as
into that
local.
and, make sure we're not stuck holding a quart of oil? There's 2 dwellings that should have been taken down after Sandy. One is on Teakwood and one is on Butler. They've both been purchased by developers, so that'll move those 2 along.
Teakwood, and what was the other one, Jim?
Teakwood and Butler. And there was actually a little bit of a bidding war, to the bank on both of them.
Good.
All right. I noticed they're working on 52 over Berkeley Shores. I'm not sure which house. It's the second house in. There was a pool in the back. They're filling the pool in. And the bank has hired contractors to, do renovations to sell it.
Is that top sale, Jim?
Yeah. Okay. Also, after the new year, if we could get together and see what projects are going to impact the beaches or the bay, that we could get them on board early. This morning, I was in downtown Newark at a state building at 7:30 in the morning, and there were homeless laying in the doorways leading up to the state building. And this is where most of the assistant attorney generals, all the licensing, the welfare boards, and you're walking past homeless laying in cardboard boxes. Most of these people, they don't want to be there. There's a mental illness. You remember when they emptied out Marlborough Hospital, what happened? They put them all over the place. But, there are some, we remember Judy and I think the mayor when we were out at Holiday City, and they were living there. They brought the Board of Health and the veterans. and some of them actually wanted to be there. But, you know, here we have a governor that tonight they passed that the convicts are going to be able to vote when they're taken out of jail. Also, I was talking to Assemblyman Ron Dancer. They want to put voting machines in the jails. They want to give some compensation to the criminals when they're out. And now they're giving the driver's licenses to the illegals. Anybody that has New Jersey manufacturers, they've raised their insurance rates for next year. So I guess now you know who's going to pay for the uninsured drivers. All right. Also, we send our school aid to the cities. You know, now we're sending all our money outside of Berkeley, and I think the governor is increasing his base with this. And you know, you really need to write a letter to the governor's office. Our assemblymen and senators in Ocean County, you know, they're behind us 100%, but the vote today was 23-17. So we need to write a letter and say, keep our money in town and do something better with the homeless. We send our money out of the country, let's help our people at home first. Thank you and a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Jim. Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes, thank you. I also want to thank you, Tom, for doing an excellent job. You really did a really good job. It's really funny. I'm going to talk about the bill, but what Councilman also talked about Trenton. Our bill 2425 got out of appropriation. They took out the discrimination, but that really wasn't what we wanted. In testifying, myself, Sophia Gingrich, Terry Lucasi, and our attorney did an excellent job. However, one of the things that Terry Lucasi and the attorney said, one thing the attorney said, keep these bills up and more people are going to move out of New Jersey. This bill was about, they didn't think there was anything wrong with it. We had an issue with the word discrimination, how it was being used with the Board of Realtors, because the town is in that lawsuit. But what was really interesting when I sat down, and I also want to thank the town for backing us all the way. What I found interesting was, first thing he said to me, Senator Singleton's aide called me first right away to tell me about the bill. And one of the comments he said was, well, it was only a handful of associations. I said, what? I said, myself and Sophia Gingrich represent 20,000, but when I was sitting there, and you heard me if you listened to me, I said, that's 170,000. But also my last comment was, we will reach every single association, co-op, condo in the state of New Jersey. Now, why I say that, interesting with Councilman Burns says, I also got another email from, West Milford, all over, all kinds of places. They managed to get our bill. What I'm trying to get at is we reach these people, and we can do it again. It may not necessarily have to be this bill, because they are going to have more bills come out. But when you say to write letters, and I had a very long conversation with the aide, and he really had no clue about the lawsuit or what we were going through. It was really interesting. And the people who write these bills sit in a little room, a bunch of intellects, and they have no clue of how we run. But after getting this other one, this was on taxes from West Milford, that's how far we reach. So if we can reach from this bill, and there's more bills coming out, when you say write a letter, Councilman, I think we can reach a lot more people in Bergen County and about our taxes and about this governor. And I always pride myself, and I know the council's the same way, on never talking about a Democrat Republican. I had my first experience with a very nasty Democrat. And I've always prided myself never asking a person to party, and told me Republicans stink. And this was in a private place. It's the first time I wanted to punch somebody in the nose. Well, not the first time. But, but I have to tell you, Trenton is becoming a real hard place. And I listened to the appropriations for an hour and a half, and when it got down to the bill on the illegals for the cars, I don't know where we're going. I'm very concerned. I had a phone call from West Virginia, said they wanted to move back up to New Jersey. I go, why? But they were telling me some of the problems down there. But I really think that we need to get together and push a real hard push back on Trenton, because I think New Jersey, if we don't do this, but the fact that I reached these people, and I told him that on the phone, I said, you think that bill was bad, wait till the next one comes out. I did have a nice conversation with CAI. They were not against the language that we asked for. I'm actually meeting with them. They would like me to be involved, because I said, the next time you want to bring something out to us, why can't you talk to us? Who are you sitting in a room to make rules for? This is not just senior community. This is planned communities, co-ops, and condominiums. We just happen to be a little more organized. But I will tell you, and I told him, you think this is over, think not. So I want to thank Councilman Gingrich for coming with us. It was very important to make our stand, and I want to thank Berkeley again, the council and the mayor, and John and we're still going to court, because the real estate, and they really seem to not understand. The DCA does not talk to the senators or to the assembly. Brick came in with us, Tom's River came in with us, but now when I get this letter, and they sent it all over, it was really interesting, and it was about taxes. So I think that what Councilman Burns says, I think we should find a way. So you give me a letter, and I'll make sure every stinking person here in Bergen County gets that letter. And I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Judy. Well said. Councilman Guadagno?
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to mention that, like last year, our Berkeley Recreation is selling pre-season beach badges, which make a great holiday gift. They're $30. If you go online, you can buy them there. If you go on or stop by the rec center, you can buy them there too. It's a great gift. It's something nice that people can use and go outside and in the summer enjoy the beach. The only thing is that you cannot have the beach badges mailed to you, so they wouldn't be there if you were giving them as a present or something for this holiday. You would actually have to pick them up after May 3rd at the beach. But still, you can probably print something offline and make it a nice holiday gift. That's really all I have tonight, Council President. I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. And Council Vice President Bushill?
Yes. As you know, we had this discussion last year about Aqua with the water, and the Aqua, I guess it was this past year, installed, or they constructed iron removal plants. And I reached out to Aqua, and I'm pleased to say that we have representatives this evening in the audience from Aqua, who in a few minutes will provide us an update on the status of those iron removal plants and in terms of the impact they're making. But in addition, there are residents in Aqua's service area who have stated that they noticed that the quality of the water has not improved. So I'm hoping that, and I know we have a resident in the audience tonight, I appreciate him coming out, that the representatives from Aqua can address any concerns that the residents have about the water. So I guess, what part of the meeting would that be? After, with the public portion? What's that?
However you want to handle it.
Yeah, we can do it before public. That's fine. How long is it?
You wanna say your piece?
How long is the presentation?
I don't know, they're just gonna give, what, a couple minutes?
Not very long. All right.
And then I know we have a resident that's gonna,
We'll bring you up in a minute.
okay. I had one other thing, the driver's license for the undocumented, is that going to vote this week? Does anyone know?
They're there tonight, voting on a lot of
Right,
Oh,
I
the-
think it's before the governor right now.
Okay, do we originally do a resolution opposing that?
I think we did.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so it's already going for vote this week, okay.
This bill is there today.
So
I think they dropped the fee on your regular renewals.
Do they have to do 6 points on their license?
So it wouldn't be of any help to do another resolution of any sort like that, opposing them?
They won't,
Police Inco.
Or is, so pass both houses?
That's what, I'm sorry,
She's asking about another resolution.
it looks like it passed both. I'm trying to pull it up on NJ.com, but it looks
think
like
it
it's
passed
before the
today.
governor.
All right,
So-
maybe we should send a resolution to the governor asking him to veto.
Too late. I'm doing it today.
What's next? What's next? Voting? No, voting for, he leaves.
Yeah.
Would it be any harm if we took the mayor's advice and did the resolution if we've already done it? I mean, there's no.
If we ask the governor to veto it, it's a new resolution, so if you want to make that motion,
Through the chair.
Yeah.
ask the governor to veto the
Oh, it's on the
Keith,
table.
is that
Yes,
your
yes,
motion?
yes, it is.
second.
I'll second it.
John, second. Just beat you up, Judy. And, roll call on that. We're all aware of what we're voting on.
Councilman Becchione?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich?
Yes.
Councilman Burns?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes.
Councilman Guadagno?
Yes.
Councilman Buccio?
Yes.
And Council President Gross?
Yes.
Thank you, Keith, for that, Mayor.
But through the chair, Mr. President, maybe we could have Aqua go on first, part of the public portion?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, so not too much left. It was an interesting year. It was a quick year. I wanted to thank the council. These guys work very hard. You don't see it, but they do. And what you see up here is hours, days, weeks of work, so that we don't have to come up here and banter back and forth, and we handle everything in chambers or closed doors the way, you know, we like to conduct business, be professional up here and unified. So I definitely want to thank everyone I served with. It was a great and fun year. I had a good time. It's a great experience to lead this crew. Thank our professionals, Lauren and Alan and Jim, and of course our BA and our CFO, the mayor, and our unsung heroes, our clerk and deputy clerk, Karen and Beverly, because they really do hold everything together. The little things you don't think of. When you're starving after a 4-hour meeting, there's food there, and all the other things they do.
And it's healthy, too.
And it's healthy, yeah. So, anyway, I just had some thank yous, and it was a good year. I look forward to the next 4 years, and everyone have a great holiday and New Year, as I had said before. And, all right, so before we do discussion, let's see. All right. Council, discussion engineer. All right, yep, we'll go right to that. Discussion township engineer.
Thank you, Council President. Item 6A is a change order and authorization for the release of a performance guarantee, 2019 roadway improvements to Valencia Street and Venezia Street. T&M Associates performed this project. They recommended the change order and the release. It's on the official items 9.25 and 9.26. Item 6B is the release of a maintenance guarantee. Luigi DeRiggi Jr. was the applicant. 14 Cosmo Court was the project, and we recommended this release in our 12/4/19 letter to the mayor and council. It's on the official item 9.27. Item 6C is a change order to Earl Asphalt Company for the 2018 road program. It's a decrease of $403.32. This project was performed by Alimo Associates from the engineering pool, and they recommended this approval. It's on the official item 9.28. And item 6D is awarding a contract for resurfacing of Garrett Road to Earl Asphalt Company in an amount of $88,213.13. This project was designed by Mazer Consultants in your engineering pool, and they made this recommendation. So on the official item 9.29. That's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Thank you. No questions?
I have one.
Yes,
You look at those streets over in Edgebrook Drive?
yes, we did. We prepared a cost estimate. It'll be submitted to
Thank you very
the
much.
administration.
Thank you, Alan, as
It was
always.
Stockton.
Okay, that's not Edgebrook Drive.
And what was the other one that you?
Stanford.
Stanford, that's it.
Baby.
All right, yep. Number 7 on our agenda, discussion by township clerk.
Item A is junkyard approvals. That's for Ocean Auto Wreckers and Ocean County Auto Wreckers and Exit 77 Recycling. The several departments, zoning, code enforcement, police department, and fire officials have done the checks on that, and they have all recommended approval. And what I need now is a motion to approve them.
And a motion on that, please?
I'll make a motion.
And a second? Roll call?
Councilman Becchione?
Yes, with an abstention on accurate towing.
No, we're doing the junkyard right now.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich?
Yes.
Councilman Burns?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes.
Councilman Godano?
Yes.
Councilman Buccio?
Yes.
Council President Gross?
Yes.
Item B is the towing approvals for Midland Motors, Jersey Shore Towing and Recovery, Price Right Auto and Repair and Towing, and Accurate Towing Service. The police department has done their investigations, and they've approved everyone that was allowed to be approved, and several drivers were not permitted, but they recommend approving all those. And
All right, a motion on that. Jim Burns made the motion, second Judy, and roll call.
Councilman Bacchione?
Yes, with an abstention on accurate towing.
Councilwoman Gingrich?
I'll say yes.
Councilman Burns?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes.
Councilman Godano?
Yes.
Councilman Buccio?
Yes.
Council President Gross?
Yes. Okay, so we have public comments now, but we will start with the representatives from Aqua, if you don't mind addressing us at this time.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
My name's Adam Berger. I'm the Director of Operations for Aqua, New Jersey. I just wanted to come and talk to you, give you an update on the project here.
Okay, just move it up a little bit.
Move up.
Is the
The
blue on?
microphone.
Is the
Just
blue
move it
light on?
towards your mouth. And hit the button, make sure it works. We don't want to miss what you have to say.
Oh, okay. So we've invested over $14 million in this iron removal system to take care of the taste and odor issues that iron causes for the citizens of Berkeley. It's going to be an overall win for the town. It's going to take some time, though, to get rid of all that legacy iron that exists in the piping. It's going to take a while to flush it out, as well as get the systems fully operational to get that optimal iron removal. So we're looking at roughly 0.6 parts per million is the current point of entry iron. Hopefully by the end of this project, we'll be looking at 0.2, 0.3. So a drastic reduction in how much iron exists in the system. It's always been safe to drink. It still is, but it's just a matter of flushing it all out of the system to give the aesthetics.
Do you know what the acceptable levels are?
The limit, I believe, is 0.8 currently.
So it wasn't harming our residents aesthetically?
It's
It just wasn't pleasant?
It's unsightly, and it creates odor.
But that has been, from what you're saying, completely rectified within our jurisdiction?
Well, it will be rectified, but it's going to take time to get the system operational, get it running perfectly, and then flushing out all the piping in your system.
And what would you
There's a
roughly-
lot of iron
Sure.
existing on the coating everywhere, so it's going to take a while.
I'm not going to hold you to it, but approximately, what would you say the time frame is for this?
You know, you're looking at 6 to 12 months before it's
I'll give you a month.
really, yeah, right. The next flushing time will be April, May. So I think that after that point, we'll really be making drastic changes. So you're still going to get, you know, that discoloration that inevitably happens with iron-heavy water like it is, but it should be a drastic improvement for everyone. So we're excited to have this project completed, and it should be a win for everybody.
I gotta ask you a quick,
Through the
excuse me,
chair.
I'm not completely, one second. Is the basis of the problem when the water, from where the water comes, or the transportation system?
No, it's an aquifer issue.
I'm sorry?
It's an aquifer issue, so where the water
It
is
is
drawn
aquifer,
from the
okay.
wells is rich in iron naturally.
Gotcha.
Naturally occurring deposits.
Gotcha.
And that happens commonly throughout the state. There's a lot of sites that have this issue.
So,
Through the chair, how many pipes have been changed out? Did you put new piping in?
No.
So it's all the old piping that's got, it's
So
rusty,
that's why
I'm
it's gonna take
sure.
so long to flush out that coating.
Are
that's
the
on
pipes
pipe.
rusty?
Well, yeah, the iron looks like rust.
Okay, so then how many years is that gonna take to clean out?
It's not gonna take years.
I don't know about that.
But replacing all the piping, well, you know, we slowly
What
go
did you
through-
spend all the money on?
The iron removal systems. Facilities are pretty expensive, all that chemical treatment and the vessels to hold the media, which treat all the iron removal. It's expensive stuff. Piping is a whole separate thing, but just replacing all the piping would be a very long task.
Through the chair.
yes, sir.
A few years ago, I replaced a 8-inch main in Monmouth County. And out of the 8-inch main, there was about 3 inches that it could travel.
Mm.
And it looked like the inside of a cave. Now that, I'm gonna say crud, you know, it's just iron buildup. You know, it would take a lifetime to get that clean, wouldn't you think?
Well, we also add a sequestrant, which helps coat the stuff that builds up and keeps that from carrying through the water into your system. So that,
So you're coating that?
so we currently are coating it.
Are you coating my throat when I drink the water?
I don't think so.
Okay. But,
So
you
that
know-
helps with the iron and keeping it out of suspension. if you know what I
Okay,
mean.
I'll buy that.
So, but yeah, it's, some of the pipes will have to be replaced, but that hardness that you're talking about forming in that pipe.
What's the percentage of ductile iron or iron pipe that you have out there? Do you know offhand?
Probably 40.
40%?
Yeah. There's a lot of ACP and PVC still in the system.
All right, thank you.
Through the chair,
Question?
Quick, I'm sorry. Are you actively replacing all of the lines? Is that what's?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't want to make that impression.
Okay.
That would be.
No, I was just asking.
You know, tens of millions of dollars of project right there.
But through the chair, if I may, in your opinion, is replacement of the lines required for the residents to see a significant reduction?
No.
In the aesthetics of the water and the iron content delivered to the tap?
No.
So your removal system will make it, is what's going to make the significant improvement?
Yeah, this filtration system will remove the iron.
Mhm.
And as we flush out the pipes, that legacy iron will be flushed out when we do our flushing
Within 6
seasonally.
to 12 months?
Yes, so I'd say with 2 flushes, we do the April, we do the October, you're really gonna see a lot of result.
Through
the chair again?
Wait, so if I'm
Keith
next.
was waiting.
Oh, okay, Keith, go ahead.
Thank you. Are all of the treatment plants online? It was my understanding there was an issue with the third one. Was that cleared up, or all three?
Yeah, there was a lot of permitting holdback from the state. We have to deal with the states just as you, and it can be challenging sometimes. But we got all our permits in order and we're fully operational.
So everything's operational?
Yep.
Terrific, thank you.
Can you tell me where the water is treated? How do you do that? If it's coming in here, where does the treatment take place?
At each of the well sites. So there's 3 plants at each of the 3 well sites.
But it's
So-
pre-flow, right? The water mains don't circulate, it's just the well
Mhm.
and it flow.
Yep, it
So
flows through the
if the
well.
scrubber is here,
Yep,
how's it get to the last house?
through pressure from the tanks. So the treatment is directly after the well, before it's charged to the system.
Okay, but if the contamination's in the pipes,
Well,
I
that's
don't wanna say
legacy.
contamination, but,
Yeah, that's legacy iron, so it's gonna have to be flushed out. But until we flush it out and get the system running optimally, we'll still be
so your
adding-
scrubber is only taking what's in the aquifer?
Yep,
It's not cleaning up what's in the pipe?
and the flushing cleans up the pipe.
Would it make
So those are the
sense-
2 steps.
I know that scrubbers are expensive, but it would make sense to have some stations along the route that you could scrub, along the route? No?
That's what flushing has to take care of, and that's what's gonna take some time, because we can't go out there and flush right now, because you'll have ice rinks all over town. So
All right.
it's
And I
gonna
want
have
to
to wait
thank you
till
for
spring.
coming out tonight and taking this beating.
You guys weren't too.
Mr. President,
We're not
through the
done
chair.
yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
One second. I have a question for you. Does daily use, does that also, is it enough, again, I'm learning about this as we go. Is that enough to start to erode some of what's in those pipes? Or
Yeah, and
do you
that's
just-
that's
as the water's
slowly gonna-
passing through it, obviously it's picking it up.
Right.
You don't just need the flushing, but the flushing is like blasting it, I
But the
guess.
flushing really makes the
Oh,
big
okay.
difference, because that buildup, with you turning on your faucet or flushing the toilet, that's just the trickle. When they open those hydrants, that's really pushing it through. You get that velocity, which scours the pipe and pulls all that iron off.
Through the chair, I have one more question. In New York, because I come from New York, the pipes are very old. How come their water is so clear and so delicious to drink, and they don't have what Aqua has down here? Why is their system so different?
It's a simple answer. Their source water is much higher quality. The aquifer we're pulling from here is full of iron. It has that taste and look to it. If it's not properly treated with this filtration system we put in, it's not gonna look that great. New York has this huge trillion-gallon aquifers. They've got aqueducts piping the water in. Their system is a little more
It's
advanced than ours, we
fantastic,
can say that.
yes. Yeah.
But,
Okay.
we don't have New York money.
Hence the fantastic pizza. John?
Mr. President,
It's fantastic water.
Delicious.
I trust Aqua is not going to increase their rates due to the new construction that you've just completed.
No, we just came out of a rate case, so our rates are set for 4 years.
Well, that's good. Thank you.
Yep.
One last
Was
question.
that 4 or 40?
Let's be realistic.
He's like, 40, he's like, really?
Through the chair, one more question. What's the location of the 3 treatment plants, the 3 wells in town? Do you know them?
I don't know the address.
I know it's what, Sherman is one?
83 Sherman Ave, 96 Route 9, and 1013 Route 9.
So yeah, I knew they could help me.
Okay. Thank you.
Through the chair, could I ask?
No, sorry.
Question? Yeah, thank you. The, two things, actually. One, I know the iron has been a concern, but I've heard from a lot of people about a smell to the water. Are they related to each other?
They are.
So that should dissipate as the iron dissipates.
Yes.
And the second part is, having done the work to install the 3 iron treatment facilities, would residents, as of now, essentially since that work's been done, until it slowly clears out of everything that's in the pipe, will they actually see it a little worse before it gets better, or would you say it should be the same as it has been, or will they see slow and steady improvement from the day it's on?
It should gradually improve.
Right, so
Generally.
it shouldn't
But,
be
you know,
any
you're
worse.
always gonna have little areas that need to be flushed, and you call them in, and we're always happy to go out and flush. If there's discoloration in any areas, there's all sorts of different little things that can cause that. But
So
as
to
we,
be-
as we continue, it should
So
vastly improve.
to be able to tell residents, even though these things came online right now, the 0.6 parts per million is probably gonna be the same for,
It should be slowly decreasing.
until it slowly changes. So
But, you
they
know, the piping. could
shouldn't be
cause that
surprised that
level
there's
to-
no big change now
Yeah.
that everything's online.
It's not a
But the
instant
idea is that
fix.
it should be. Thank you. Thank you.
So,
Chair,
yeah, okay.
so with regards to your flushing events, the residents will be noticed, and they can probably expect during the flushing event, there may be a little higher iron
Absolutely.
during that time, because that's what the
Right.
flushing does. to
All the
certain
time, yeah.
pipes. But then it should settle back down.
Mhm.
And you notify all the residents in advance of the flushing?
We
event?
do.
By what means?
How's that dialogue system work?
Yes, with Reach, we also reach out to Mayor Amato, we send a map out to the town saying this is the area we'll be in. We try to do it on a week, whoever will be reaching out to that week and a half, timeframe.
And how long does each flushing take?
A flushing takes about a month total.
Oh,
to
really?
Make it all the way to the town, yeah.
Wow.
We do it overnight,
It's
And-
labor intensive.
slow and steady.
I get a voicemail, like on my cell phone. There's like an 800 number, and it leaves a voicemail saying that there's gonna be flushing in the area. So I get notified, I'm a customer of Aqua, so.
As long as they have a contact listed on their account, that's an up-to-date contact. A lot of times, sometimes they forget when they change a number to update that contact, and then they would not receive a call. But as long as there's an up-to-date contact, they should receive a call.
And that's why we reach out to the mayor's office to try and get it out to as many people as possible.
Just so we know for the
forewarn
record,
everyone.
Alyssa, is that you?
Yes.
Okay, Vanham, we just are, my legal people here. So what I'd like to do, Alyssa, did you want to come up as well, or did you have anything to add? And then what I'm going to ask one or both of you to do is obviously remain handy, because if anyone has questions, we may need your assistance.
Sure.
Some people might be here to ask you questions. Did anyone else have questions before? All right, and then if you'd like to speak, Alyssa, fine. If you just want to answer questions.
No, I'm just here for support with that.
All right. Adam, did you have anything further for us?
No, thank you all for your time. Happy holidays. You too.
Just, I know John had touched on it. One of the biggest complaints that besides the iron complaint, was the smell, the urine smell in the water.
Mm.
And it happens a lot on the weekends. Is there anything in place? Is it the chemical mixture? Is it the
So there-
filtration? What is actually causing
So there's
that?
been some issues with the system and the SCADA communication, which is the online control. Basically, we don't have someone there 24/7. So these alarms have been not working exactly correct. That's been rectified, and we'll be able to respond to them and make sure that the chemical treatment is dead on, so the iron doesn't cause that smell. It's the iron and the lack of perfect treatment causes that.
Right, the chemistry.
Yeah, it's no good.
It's, as Councilman
It's
Bushio
unpleasant.
had mentioned, I'm also an Aqua subscriber. I was actually Berkeley Water Company many years ago.
Mhm.
And it's frustrating. It's frustrating because, the neighbors call me, the residents call me, and they want answers. And I just want to thank Alyssa, who's done a really good job the last 2 years. The communication between Aqua and the township has been vastly improved than it was prior. We actually know what's going on now. It's not like a guessing game where we got to wait till Monday to call the 800 number,
Sure.
and hopefully they call us back. The communication with Alyssa and myself has been very good, and we do disseminate that information out through our Facebook pages, and I know they do the swift reach or the reverse 911 call.
And we're here to be a partner in your community and try and provide the best quality water we can to you. So, appreciate that.
All right. Thanks, Adam, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just don't go anywhere, somebody may have questions for you. Sure. As a matter of fact, Jason, all right, so you're, just, as you know, name and address for the record, try to keep it to 5 minutes. It looks like we have props, so there should be.
Good evening, everyone. Jason Kangas for the record, 22 Centerboard Drive, Bayville, New Jersey. Resident for 15 years now. Just to review, first off, I want to thank Mayor Amato, council, and all the administration here for dealing for the past 2 years in Aqua Water saga. It's definitely been a help, and you guys have really pushed us along to make Aqua do what they've done so far. It's been 2 years, it's unbelievable, since Joe Mingle stood here in front of mayor and council and told us iron would not harm our bodies. Then I handed out my LabCorp results showing high iron. So I don't know how Joe Mingle, as director of operations, who is no longer with Aqua, or how Adam Berger can sit here and say iron will not harm your bodies. On their own yearly report, 2018, just below the iron results, it states in there, in their own writing, iron will deposit in your organs. They wrote it. I didn't. I just have the high iron results. That day when I showed you my lab results, Joe Mingle sat in the third seat from the end right there. If he could have shriveled up, he would have shriveled up and died. Because the look on his face, he knew he had a problem. And he knew he had to fight the mayor and council and the residents of Berkeley. Some point in time, as Mr. Berger said, a sequestration agent was added to the water to help with the iron. You know, the levels came down, but they were still high. You know, the sequestration agent is kind of a funny thing. It holds it together, but what's the true effect? If it's not natural, there has to be some type of effect. At some point, Aqua advised that they're going to build 3 iron removal systems for $10 million. They did that. They said they spent $14 million, which we're very happy of. Mike from Aqua, I think he's in the audience today, I'm not sure of his last name, has come out to my house as well as other houses in the community. Mike said there's not a problem. Well, I beg to differ. I said, Mike, I'm not a businessman, but I think I'm pretty good at finances. I said, if there's not a problem with the water, why would Aqua spend $10 million if there's not a problem? Mike couldn't answer the question. You know, multiple people, because I do have a Facebook account about Berkeley Water, have spoke to me, reached out to me and said, Mike has offered to drink the brown, cloudy water, saying it's safe. Multiple people have told me they'd offered it to him, handed it to him, and he declined. You know, if I could just show something, this is 3 months. I've seen pictures of ones worse. I haven't seen any better, but I know if it wasn't for that, all that would be in our bodies. According to Aqua's own 2018 yearly report, the iron level is 1.0. The highest level was 1.0. The RUL, the recommended upper limit for the state of New Jersey is 0.6. Now, it does change a little when you add a sequestration agent, but still, they're out of compliance with the state. The aluminum. No one talked about aluminum today. I know Alyssa's been talked with her numerous times, and Joe Mingle from before. They say that these plants should be able to take the aluminum also out of the water. I don't know if that's an answer or not. But the 2018 levels of aluminum in your water was the highest level is 4.86. Now, the recommended upper limit is 0.2. Quick math, that's 24 times the recommended upper level. You can Google aluminum on the body. There's a lot of things out there that says it causes cancer. I'm not a biologist, so I'm not a doctor. But I'm just going by Aqua's own results. A couple questions I have, which I don't know the answers to. You know, Alyssa was nice enough to give me her phone number if I have any questions and or concerns. At first, she was right on. She responded back to me. However, about 3 months ago, I asked a question. I didn't get an answer. I asked a question again a week later. Didn't get an answer. Finally, after I texted her 4 times in a row on the same day, she told me not to text her anymore because she was in communication with the mayor and council. I responded back to her. Said I appreciate being in contact with mayor and council. However, I'm a resident of Berkeley. I pay my water bill and I have Aqua water. I'm not asking for anything over and above. I just asked a simple question. Questions I have are, when exactly do the filters go online? Do we have dates of each and every filter? To see if the filter went online after I put this in, the filter needs some help. Was there any testing done after the filters went online? So we can look at before results from 2018 to today's results. And not only test results coming out of the filter, let's also do test results coming out of my spigot, coming out of the mayor's spigot, or coming out of another person's spigot. Should be 3. 1 was before, 2nd after the filter, and 3rd at our tap. If there was testing done, when would that be provided to mayor and council and or the residents of Berkeley? You know, the legacy iron that Mr. Berger spoke about, it's in a system. I spoke with an expert from outside the area. He wished I didn't use his name. I said, well, all the irons, the legacy iron, as he used the name, is in a system. He says, it'll be there for years. Councilwoman Gingrich, good point. The way it was explained to me is, if you eat McDonald's French fries and cheeseburgers for 50 years, then all of a sudden you start eating healthy for 2 months, your arteries are still clogged. The only way you can really fix it is replace the pipes. It will clear up little by little, but it'll never be 100%. There's still going to be that stuff in the pipes, like Councilman Burns said, you know, an 8-inch pipe was down to 3 inches.
Mr. Gangs, I'm inclined to let you finish, but you've gone over your time. Does anyone else plan to speak? Because I'll have you come up and have him come back, just in the interest of fairness. And
I could be done in about 2 minutes if you wouldn't mind.
That's fine. No one else is, okay.
Thank
And what I'd like to do is, because I'm not gonna have a debate here tonight, is if you'd like to submit your questions to the business administrator, and he can get answers for you, because I've been doing this long enough to know that if I have them speak their piece, and it's a passionate subject with you, you and your family has the water, and I get it, so that's just how I'm gonna do this, but anyway, go ahead, sir.
Purpose of me coming up here is not a debate at all. It's merely to inform the citizens, mayor and council. They know enough of it. Is it Aqua's plan at all to help the people of Aqua that pay the bills? We flush our water, we flush our hot water tanks, we pay for filters, we buy bottled water. It would be nice if they could do something for all the people. Give us a small credit for flushing. Give us something. I submit the residents of Berkeley Township deserve to know the current contaminant levels and Aqua's future plans on cleaning our water mains. That's all I have tonight. I want to thank everyone, our mayor and council, administration, people in the audience. Wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Wish everyone a Happy New Year. And hopefully see you again.
Thanks.
Hey, due time, I guess. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, motion to close, and go into closed. May I have a second? Judy, second, Keith. All in favor? All right, thank you.
Resolution number 19-500-R regarding closed session. Whereas we are about to discuss matters which deal with one or more of the statutory exceptions under the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act, which allows the exclusion of the public during said discussion, and whereas the matters to be discussed relate to personnel, pending litigation, and contractual. Whereas this may be disclosed to the public at a time when the necessity for confidentiality no longer exists or within 6 months or less from the date hereof. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Berkeley, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey as follows, that the Township Council shall retire into executive session where the public shall be excluded and where said matter shall be discussed and formal action may be taken with regard thereto. 2, that the minutes of this executive session shall be closed from public inspection and shall so remain until the reason for confidentiality ceases to exist or upon formal action by the Township Council on an official meeting within 6 months or less. 3, that the termination of said executive session, the meeting would be adjourned. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve and adjourn.
Second. And roll call we need, or just?
Roll call. Councilman Bacchione?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich? Yes. Councilman Burns?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes.
Councilman Godano?
Yes.
Councilman Buccio?
Yes.
Council President Gross?
Yes.